I still think about the night your mother and I had to leave you.
Pimration over an uncaring void of darkness. Look, Hollywood, no matter how realistic the de-aging technology gets, it will always feel uncanny, because our brains know it's fake, and we know what they look like now, and I just wish you'd stop. Is anyone really trying to tell me that Batman Begins would have been better if young Bruce Wayne was a CGI de-aged Christian Bale a la Newsies, instead of a totally different child actor that didn't maybe look like Bale, but did the job acting-wise?
We both knew that if you go that small, there's no coming back.
Narration that was proven false by the previous movie, and this movie. In a few seconds, he's even going to counter this very statement, so why not just have him say, we both thought?
It should have been me, but my regulator was damaged.
And that would mean these movies would have had Michelle Pfeiffer as one of the leads, and God forbid a woman be the successful inventor of scores of useful Marvel tech. I imagine Marvel being like Buddy Ackerman's office and swimming with sharks. Avoid women, they ovulate. Do you know what that does to a 3-month shoot? You've got to think big, think Pym, think Banner, think Stark. Bad wigs.
I think it's possible to bring her back.
And I started to think it's possible to make pigs fly, but I've still got several legal and moral hurdles to clear before any country will give me permission to cut off a pig's nose and surgically attach a propeller in its place.
I'm ready, Daddy.
This reveal is cute until you realize that he was in jail for stealing, and now he's play acting stealing with his kid, and then it gets a little less cute.
Look, it's Anton.
Looks like Scott saw Dave made a maze, so therefore Scott made a maze.
It looks like treasure. I want to take it to show and tell.
But why? So that there will be a 5-minute sidetrack later in the movie where he has to go into the school to get it back? That's awfully prescient for a 10-year-old to think about a screenwriter's wishes.
I'm in the middle of trying to steal something with my daughter.
He even says the word steal. How many conversations did he have with her where he was all, stealing for real is wrong, and that's why Daddy went to jail, but stealing for pretend is fun, so let's do that together in celebration of the fact that Daddy isn't in jail for stealing anymore. Everyone's gonna call this the he's a great dad scene, but if she'd flown off this cardboard slide contraption and gotten a concussion, we'd all be rightfully blasting his ass as a terrible and reckless father.
You're really great with kids.
Thanks, I'm also a youth pastor.
Pop quiz, assholes. Thanks, I'm also a youth pastor is A, what I say whenever I get complimented on my hygiene. B, a spicy Albanian religious cola drink. C, a saying I had tattooed on my penis. And D, the only sworn testimony I have ever given in a court of law.
It was their tech, so they violated the Accords too.
How does creating tech like Ant-Man's suit before the Accords were a thing violate the Accords? I thought the Accords were just a set of rules stating that superheroes had to twiddle their thumbs until the government needed them to fight crime under their supervision. If it was discovered that Scott stole the tech, how does that make Hank and Hope liable?
How'd you do it, Scott?
He means the magic trick, but this is the pronoun game dressing up as something else. Look, I'll be honest, these Ant-Man movies deserve praise for portraying a modern family that includes divorce and stepdads without making it feel weird. In fact, these movies go out of their way to show how uplifting and positive co-parenting can be for divorced parents. One sin removed. This guy has 3 more days of house arrest to kill before freedom, and he goes, drum practice, plastic bowling even 6-year-olds would turn up their noses at, goddamn magic lessons online, private karaoke, John Green novels, origami, and hot f***ing goddamn is the dude ever gonna turn on the TV or watch some porn? Nothing passes time better than TV and porn.
You always find me, Mommy.
This is apparently a real-life memory of some sort, because blah blah Scott blah blah quantum realm blah blah married to the mob is stuck in the quantum realm. And that's pretty much how this movie explains it.
Do you think it was a dream, or is it possible that you really saw my mom down there?
How the is he supposed to know that? I have a feeling that if you were driving a car this small for a trip this long, getting smashed would be an inevitability. Also, while the car is small, it's not undetectable. People would see this tiny car making intelligent driving decisions and definitely pick it up and see what the is going on.
It was a matter of national security. The Cap needed help.
Cap?
Hope interrupts this bullshit reason Scott is giving to join Cap's side in Civil War, basically because it's a joke about how he casually refers to Captain America as Cap, and so you won't realize what a ridiculous decision it was. The whole first Ant-Man was about him doing things to see his daughter, because he cared about his daughter more than anyone in the world. To join the fight with a bunch of rogue Avengers and potentially be put in prison for life is something not only Scott wouldn't do, but Cap would never ask him to do under those circumstances. What? I barely tolerate your embiggening and smallening technology at all, but simply can't abide the idea that you built it into a car model. Also, is there a reason you drove here small only to park large? Was it just to demonstrate the tech? I think it was just to demonstrate the tech. Okay, these giant ants roaming around like worker bees or mailroom employees here, they can off and die, and I am so uncomfortable right now. Also, these CG ants are fake as Doesn't Marvel Disney have enough money now to actually enlarge real ants and train them at this point? I'd for sure wreck the ecosystem for art. Why doesn't this multi-billion-dollar company? No, seriously, are you paying these ants a living wage? Because if not, this feels way ickier than a shared understanding between species.
It's a tunnel to the quantum realm.
Wait, what? You don't need a tunnel. Just wear the suit and go 2 levels deep. Boom. Bob's your uncle. You're in the quantum realm. Try the veal. This huge Duracell product placement only accentuates what a waste of science this is. You could solve nearly all the world's problems with this shrinking and enlarging technology, but it will never be used in that way.
We think when you were down there, you may have entangled with her.
And so, therefore, you had a dream memory of a very real thing that happened. I don't understand it either, but thankfully it happened, because now the pan's back together and we can start Ant-Manning the Wasp.
Your mom put a message in my head? Come on. That's insane.
Guy who has literally shrunk down and led an army of ants into battle says that's insane, like he's some kind of authority on crazy scene descriptions.
Once we get the component and power up the tunnel, we'll get the message and have you home by lunch. We have to hurry. The entanglement won't last.
You owe us.
Never, ever, ever have 6 seconds of consecutive dialogue been this confusing. If you're trying to keep your shrinkable lab a secret, why do you place it anywhere in the middle of the city? In fact, why don't you just always keep the building shrunk, then shrink to go inside it and do your work, and only enlarge when you need it to be enlarged? I mean, does no one see this? And what about the electrical and plumbing lines into this bitch? Not to mention all the 4 dozen other issues this movie ignores about shrinking a building. Also, I hate you. Also, how's the solution to Infinity War not these fools just making Thanos a tiny gummy bear and eating his ass so he drowns in stomach acid?
Can I have one of these?
No. He could simply tell Scott that there are no Altoids in that box, but why do that when you have this big surprise up your sleeve later when they get all kidnapped by Ghost? Walton Goggins plays a bad guy in a movie cliche.
Quantum energy is the future.
Okay, this is like when the human guy in Avatar demanded more unobtainium. It's literally just like that. We look the other way because the MCU is great, but still. You know what's cooler than $1 million?
$1 billion.
Hold up, what is that on the plate in front of her? Bars of Dove soap cut open and filled with goop? Giant deviled eggs? The 3 seashells from Demolition Man? Hope is now kicking all of Birch's henchmen's asses, which makes me wonder why she or Pym didn't just shrink down, break into wherever it was, and steal the component in the first place. Why did they even stick their necks out when they were already wanted for their supposed Sokovia Accords crimes? Hell, Pym is such a genius, why didn't he just build it himself? The motherfucker built a goddamn quantum tunnel. Alright, I am out. This kind of tech makes pretty much the entire MCU worthless. This is raw magic, more powerful than even Harry f***ing Potter ever saw. Also, I just don't understand why she would need to do that when she's perfectly capable of speedily flying to the door to prevent him from doing that herself. It's like those X-Men Quicksilver scenes, only without regard for the viewer's equilibrium or desire not to throw up. Fight scene editing, brought to you by the MCU.
There's one place I can think of.
No.
We all know what that means, people. They're going to the place that Hank doesn't want to go to anyway, despite his strong objections. It's one of those hilarious things that crops up in 4 out of every 5 movies. These assholes who work with Luis, and even Luis himself, argue about f***ing oatmeal for 20 seconds. And somehow people were still wondering why this movie didn't fully connect with viewers. Oh.
Do you guys just put the word quantum in front of everything?
No lie, I literally wrote this exact thing as a sin. Then he says this, and now I have to delete that earlier sin and make this a Scott would be excellent at CinemaSins sin.
Wait! You might be able to improvise that tracker if you modify the diffraction units on one of your regulators.
That sounds just vague enough to work.
The Postal Service is very reliable. You know, they do tracking numbers now.
This movie is just one conversation like this after another, and it's not cute.
I looked everywhere. It's not here.
I put it back after Cassie and I were show and tell.
Yep, Scott's going to go to Cassie's school and get the Ant-Man suit out of the trophy she brought to show and tell. He will do it with virtually no conflict. This teacher will ask for a hall pass and will give up when Scott runs away, and Cassie's class will be out to recess when he looks through Cassie's bag. Child-sized Paul Rudd sounds a lot more fun than this scene ends up being, and that's a shame.
What are we gonna do?
Convenient lost and found bucket in a janitor's closet and not the principal's office is convenient.
Okay, let's go.
And even though the bell rang, Scott and Hope run out of the elementary school without anyone noticing. In fact, is this a field trip day or something?
Sorry, I had to come up with a name for my aunt. I'm thinking Ulysses S. Ant.
Another casualty of Hank Pym's ego.
Dun dun dun! In addition to being super helpful about how they could locate the lab, Morpheus is also the surrogate father for this ghost chick. The odds are astronomical. Holy
Elias Starr. They were colleagues at S.H.I.E.L.D. Quantum research.
This exposition is clunky, but at least no one's quipping about oatmeal or the post office.
When I woke up, my parents were dead.
But I wasn't, because quantum reasons.
And trained me to be a stealth operative.
We find out later that she only gets away from S.H.I.E.L.D. once S.H.I.E.L.D. falls apart, so she must have been so stealth that we didn't even see her in the big Avengers missions, where she could have been a huge asset. She's in there somewhere, damn it! I just know she is!
And in exchange for my soul, they were going to cure me.
God, she has been talking for 57 minutes.
Then she told me about Lang and the message from Janet inside his head. That's when I knew.
Bill is giving very important information here as the story builds a little momentum, and the movie interrupts it for a joke.
Bring it down. I lock it in.
I was gonna say Hank is a dick to these ants, but then I realized Hank is just a dick.
Going subatomic isn't something you can prepare for. It kind of
melts your mind.
If Hank's wife isn't a completely changed woman after being in the quantum realm for 30 years, then this whole thing's a lie.
Oh, is that truth serum?
There's no such thing as truth serum. That's just nonsense from TV.
Usman and the ex-con security team will argue about whether they should call this truth serum for some time. And the reason why Usman won't just let it go is because... why exactly? Is he trying to guard some reputation for the bad guy underworld where truth serum is considered hack?
I tolerate a lot of the things you do out there, but I won't be a part of anything like that.
Wait, what exactly has she been doing besides following Hank and Hope for the last 2 years? Has she been committing other major crimes other than stalking? Sure, she was an operative of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a hot minute, but that wasn't her decision.
I like a good story as much as the next person, but what in the hell does this have to do with where Scott Lang is?
I'm getting there.
You put a dime in him, you gotta let the whole song play out.
It's really an excuse for the movie and Luis to tell his drunk history-style stories again. And while those are funny and everything, I bet if you took out all the sidetracks in this film, the movie would be 50 minutes long.
Oh, the woods.
The woods?
Ghost decides to blow her cover to demand more specific answers, as if Birch wasn't going to ask Luis to elaborate on what he meant by that.
If that freak gets Pam's tech, I'm never gonna see it.
How many bad guys are in this movie?
Systems in the green.
Priming the coils.
Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed.
It's shutting down. Maybe our vectors are off.
Yep, I agree. Gotta be the vectors. Like 60% of the time, it's the vectors every time.
I'm sorry, I don't know how much time I have. I need to fix the algorithm.
This is where the movie goes from harmless, inconsequential Marvel entry to downright silly. Michelle Pfeiffer's quantum brain possessing Paul Rudd is an entanglement so unwelcome they might as well call this movie I Could Never Be Your Woman Part 2.
Oh, jelly bean.
This plot convenience is so weird that now Hope can officially say she's had sex with her mom.
You have 2 hours. After that, the probability fields will shift, and it'll be another century before they align like this again.
A detail that comes out of nowhere. I guess they were lucky they got the machine up and running when they did. This shit is totally made up so that there will be added pressure, even though they just sat around letting Michelle Pfeiffer waste away in the quantum realm for 30 years with no problem.
The feds, they know where you are.
And despite that, they will somehow totally fail to get to Scott's house before he does, even though Goggins told the FBI guy about it sometime at night, and it's now sometime during the day. See the night in the background? That's night. But continuity aside, even if it only happened 5 actual minutes ago, the FBI would be at Scott's place way before his flying ant could get there from the Muir Woods. I'd also like to point out that the Muir Woods is a tourist attraction, and placing a giant lab in the middle of it is going to be spotted by somebody, even if the FBI wasn't tipped off by Sonny Birch. It's also kind of a dick move. No other members of law enforcement see this Benedict Arnold take the lab and put it in his trunk.
Agent, we will see you in an hour.
The FBI leaves these 2 internationally wanted criminals in this basic-ass room unsupervised. 2 people known for inventions that make people small and can potentially escape the situation, even if you search them. Don't Hank and Hope deserve a stronger holding cell with guards? Yep, they're getting out of this because she has a hairpin in her mouth. People in charge of Hank and Hope are dumber than the ones who were supposed to watch Ted Bundy in Colorado.
To shrink that wall.
Looks load-bearing.
How would the shrinking device know to shrink the entire wall? Wouldn't it just shrink the one brick to which it attaches?
That'll work.
It's stupid, but it'll work. Look, just because the building's been placed in a nearly abandoned part of town doesn't mean people don't notice shit like that. Fucking cops who patrol this area are gonna be like, damn, a whole new building just sprung up out of nowhere. I better investigate.
What's up?
He's no Ned, but Luis is definitely great and worthy of a sin removal.
I had him follow us. I thought we could use some help.
That's why I didn't tell you until now, right before we go into the lab.
I just wanted to save Ava. She's facing death or something far more terrible.
What? I still don't understand how the ants gained super intelligence just because they got big. Holy this movie just got a lot more time cop than I think it intended to. So she's a super genius, a badass at hand-to-hand combat, a professional stunt driver. She's basically all the things. She's Trinity in the Matrix movies, downloading new skills on the fly as needed.
I want that lab, boys, whatever it takes.
Do you have all your evil black SUVs equipped? Good, that's half the battle. Any reason why she can't just do this and stay small until she finds a safe place? Can't she just shrink and hide the van, pull out the Hot Wheels rally case, change cars, thereby evading Birch and his crew? Awesome! The Quantum Realm has whale songs.
Bikes, it's all you.
Yes, because they took out 4 SUVs, the clear solution is motorcycles. Also, why the f*** were you holding back some of your men for a second wave? Do you want the lab, or do you want an extended chase? Look, I don't hate fun. I like fun, and this is fun. It's just the ramifications of this casual application of Biggie Smalley technology across the MCU as a whole concern me greatly. I'm beginning to think when screenwriters write big Hollywood movie, there's a space already filled in, where crazy happens and average citizens don't see it on page 84 somewhere. You have to include it, or Cary Grant busts out of his coffin to eat you. He hasn't driven in 2 years, and it was a problem, but he's able to just knee skateboard this bitch like he's been knee skateboarding trucks his whole life. Huh, legit did not think you could crash down here. Darren Aronofsky's Wreck-It Ralph. Good job, Hope. Now hopefully they don't wreck the car into innocent people. Whew, I'm very results-oriented, so that was a great decision on your part. Great job.
How did he even have time to buy a ticket?
Impossible action is justified through a throwaway joke, I guess. I'm no extra dimension expert, but I feel like the quantum void should have the same helmet removal as bad rules as outer space.
I'm so sorry.
He means about marrying Catherine Zeta-Jones while his first wife was trapped in the quantum realm.
I'm not the same woman I was 30 years ago, Henry.
Yes, you are. Just because you say it doesn't make it so. Aside from some ET powers that we'll see later, you're the same person.
Adaptation is part of it, but some of it is evolution.
How are you not dead? Like, I get that because you're so small, metabolism probably isn't a factor, so you don't need to eat anything, but we saw the tardigrades going in for an attack earlier, and then there's the whole mind-melting thing, in addition to other issues. But really, I just wanted to write a sin that said tardigrades in it.
Let's go.
If you've never seen a movie before, allow me to spoil for you the fact that the FBI man will, at least one more time in this movie, be too late or get fooled again. Just FYI. I'm cynical enough about the citizens of San Francisco in this movie that they probably didn't even see this.
Let's go see our daughter.
Truly, this has been a fantastic voyage.
Come on. Come on, where are you, Scott? Gotcha.
You are in dirty water with no light, trying to find a guy who is ant-sized. How lucky is this?
I guess this is where we say adios, amigo.
That's super racist. Also, ex-con, ex-machina. Ex-con-mica? Comic-Con? She's stealing her chi!
She started the extraction. She's gonna tear Mom apart.
I'm sure they explained how Ghost was gonna zap Janet's quantum energy and put it into her to fix her condition. And I'm sure the idea is complex, but it ends up feeling way too simplistic. This is Paul Simon's favorite scene in the entire MCU.
Your pain, I can feel it.
And that was how Mantis was born. Scott Lang's house in this market could easily sell for a few $1 million, but earlier he and Luis were revealed to be lying to their employees about how broke the company is. No one will be seated during the Everything Worked Out So Well for Everyone. We are literally using the song Come On Get Happy under this montage portion of the movie. When I see Hank take a mansion out of a jewelry box and plant his home on a beach with his beautiful wife, I'm reminded how assholish this looks, considering all the people he could help with this technology and won't. Great, but don't flush those toilets, y'all.
I hate that moth dust.
Given the potential for all kinds of death and danger scenarios when a human being is the size of an ant, like the moth dust and getting stepped on and drowning in a single drop of rain, why not just watch this on a TV inside? Drive-in theaters aren't even a good way to watch a movie. As an experience, yes, they are fun and can be nostalgic and create memories, but from a pure movie-watching standpoint, it's pretty far down the list of desirable ways to watch a film, just below edited for television and just above on a handheld black and white portable TV.
And don't get sucked into a time vortex. We won't be able to save you.
How did you avoid the time vortex when you yourself did not know what one was until you spent 30 years in the quantum void? I have a lot of questions about how you survived down there. Also, this is foreshadowing for Endgame that is trying very hard to just appear to be casual technobabble. Remember when he went into the quantum realm in just the suit in the first movie? And then in this movie they had to build a whole inner spaceship to use to go into the quantum realm to rescue Janet, who had also entered the quantum realm in a suit, but now they're just sending Scott back into the quantum realm in only a suit. This confuses my ass.
Guys.
So there were 4 of them here on top of the parking garage. He goes into the quantum realm, Thanos snaps, and somehow random 50% death across the universe results in all 3 up here getting dusted? That seems more driven by story than randomness. I'm sorry. And yes, I know it's perfectly within the realm of coincidence, but I'm not buying it here, because they need Scott to be trapped in the quantum realm in order for Avengers Endgame to resolve. So they had to dust everyone up here that could have brought him back. A drumming ant. Aren't you glad you waited the full 10 minutes of credits to see that? Are you not entertained?
Because that's how you get ants. FBI, open up!
Spread out.
What is this?
A center for ants!
You think that's air you're breathing now?
I should have said the poet.